Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakya Chakshurummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Vancha kalpataruvesha kripa sindhuvya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So my throat is not good, so you have to bear with me. Hare Krishna. So I'm so happy to meet with all devotees. I think winter has started. Some devotees are wearing winter clothes. So where we were discussing about Madhurya Kadambini, and last class we were discussing about the first chapter, the first hour of nectar, of how a person comes to devotional service. So all our acharyas, Srila Rupa Goswami and all our acharyas, I hope I'm audible because I'm speaking in a very low tone. Yeah. So all our acharyas, Rupa Goswami and all our acharyas, they have explained how the development of the bhakti through the different stages is actually development of a faith of a person. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Rupa Goswami that how the bhakti is like a bhakti lata, which is like a creeper, which one cultivates in the heart of, in one's own heart. And Rupa Goswami has explained that how this bhakti lata grows. The growth of the bhakti lata depends on the growth of our faith. So faith, from all the stages what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, henceforward he explains how the different degrees of faith increases in the heart of a person. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur starts explaining the different stages of bhakti, and the first stage he explains about bhakti is called the Adau Shraddha. Adau Shraddha. Adau Shraddha means initial faith, or we can say that little bit of faith. So like initially when we came to bhakti, everything was new for all of us, yes? who are these people, what they are doing, uh, and we are quite skeptical about whoever is doing. So that is called initial faith. But Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur defines faith in two ways. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur defines faith as a natural conviction on the words of the scriptures. Faith means a natural conviction on the words of the scriptures that these are absolute truth. There is no difference between absolute truth and the words and instructions of the scriptures. So this is faith. And the second definition that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that once one has a natural conviction on the words and instructions of the scriptures, the second definition is there is a natural desire to learn about them and to apply them in one's life. So these two are the definition of faith. Like someone says, what is faith? So faith is on the words of scriptures. Uska shraddha hai. Some people say that, just like we say that unka shraddha hai. But faith on God means it begins and it is on the faith on scriptures. So, and a natural desire to apply and learn the scriptures and apply the scriptures in one's life. So this is how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur defines faith. Faith is a conviction that the words of the scriptures are absolute truth. If Bhagavad Gita says something, there is no doubt about it. If Srimad Bhagavatam says something, there is no doubt about it. There is no discussion on it. We can create an explanation for it, but there is no debate on what Bhagavad Gita says. There is no debate on what Srimad Bhagavatam says. So this conviction, this natural conviction, is defined as faith by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And the desire also to learn and apply them in our life is also defined as faith. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that this faith, which is born out of scriptures, out of natural convictions on scriptures, is called swabhaviki faith or natural faith. And we can see that people, those who come to Krishna consciousness, many have this natural faith. Yeah, like many people who come to Krishna consciousness, they say that this Bhagavad Gita is really wonderful. Bhagavad Gita, like we see some people, they want to distribute Bhagavad Gita, right? Especially now December month is coming. You go to a lot of people, they will say Bhagavad Gita distribute karna chahiye Maharaj ji, and then they will give a lot of donations. They will ask how many Bhagavad Gita your organization is distributing. So this shows that they have faith in Bhagavad Gita. They want to distribute Bhagavad Gita. But you ask them that you read Bhagavad Gita, we are starting a class on Bhagavad Gita. You are starting a class on Bhagavatam. Nahi Swami ji, Maharaj ji, samay kahan hai? There is no time for Bhagavad Gita is very, very important, Swami ji. It has to be distributed. It has to be read by whom? By others. I am Krishna has given me some funds, so I should distribute them. So this means they have the first type of faith, that they know that the Bhagavad Gita is word of God and it has to be distributed. It will create a revolution, positive revolution in the society, but they don't have the progressive faith, that the next kind of faith, that to learn Bhagavad Gita and apply in one's life. They will say karmanyavadhikaraste. That's it. Work is worship, Bhagavad Gita says, and that's the only one line they will say. But they will know that Bhagavad Gita says something, then it is absolute truth. So uh, this is one category of people, but these people, they have natural faith because their faith is quite natural in scriptures. They would quote Bhagavad Gita, and if someone quotes from Bhagavad Gita or some scriptures, they will say, this person is very learned, this person knows everything, this person is quoting from scriptures, this person has to be followed. So, and some people in our community also, wherever we stay, we will see that I want to learn Bhagavad Gita. Like I had gone Delhi. There are so many people who came, but they were reading Bhagavad Gita on their own. They purchased some Bhagavad Gita, they were reading Bhagavad Gita, they were trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. No one understands Bhagavad Gita like that. Many of us had purchased Bhagavad Gita before coming to Krishna consciousness. We had tried to read it from cover to cover and then close it and think that this book cannot be understood. Right? Many have attempted to read. That means what? Those who have attempted to read Bhagavad Gita, those who had prior to coming to Krishna consciousness, we should understand that our faith was swabhaviki. We had a natural faith, and we came to Krishna consciousness. Our adav shraddha was swabhaviki faith on, I need to learn the scriptures, I need to learn Bhagavad Gita and apply in our life. So most of us come like this, that we have a swabhaviki natural faith on scriptures, on trying to learn scriptures. But there are some, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, who have a different type of faith or whose faith is not natural, swabhaviki, on the scriptures. So we are discussing on the first stage of bhakti, called, that is adav shraddha, faith. Now faith has two parts, right? If I start the whiteboard, and that this is adav shraddha, and then this is swabhaviki, faith, that is natural. And the next one, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, is balotpadika faith. So this adav shraddha stage is divided into two parts. That is called, how do you draw a line? Yeah. One is called the swabhaviki faith, and another is called the bala utpadiki faith. I hope you could see that. I closed it much before. This is bala utpadiki faith. So most of us, most people who are born in India have swabhaviki faith on Bhagavad Gita. That's how in India is called Punya Bhumi. Like we just say, right? The India is Punya Bhumi. Now one may wonder what is the Punya Bhumi of India? We are all doing all the same activities that Western countries are doing. Yes, maybe more in a more horrible way, more sophisticated way, or more spiritual way, right? If the American person before eating non-veg, he may just eat the non-veg, but in India, oh, this food has been given by God to us, and he will eat. Even if he is doing sinful activity, he will pray to God and do the sinful activity. That is India. Oh, food is provided by God. And while eating the intoxicants, bhang and all those things, he will remember Lord Shiva, how Lord Shiva is intoxicated and dancing in Natavar Roop. So in India, maybe we are doing the sinful activities in a sophisticated spiritual way, so-called spiritual way. But that doesn't define Indians as Punya Bhumi, or India as Punya Bhumi, or Indians as Punya. What defines India as Punya Bhumi is the natural faith that the Indians have on scriptures. Every Indian has a natural faith on Bhagavad Gita, though they may not read it. Now we will discuss about why Indians are not reading Bhagavad Gita. That's a different story. We will go ahead and read. But India, most of the people in India have a swabhaviki faith on the Vedic scriptures, on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. If you quote something from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, you are respected in India. Indians will respect you. So that is the swabhaviki faith of Indians. Now, what is Balotpadiki faith? Balotpadiki faith is that you do not have natural faith on scriptures, but still one comes to Krishna consciousness. This is Adho Shraddha stage. One comes to Krishna consciousness because of some Bala Utpadika. That the faith, the Shraddha came Bala. Bala means strength. Utpadika, by the strength of something material. Bala Utpadika. Spirituality came through some material circumstances. Like someone in someone's house passes away. And he gets really disturbed. Really, how come this is, what is the use of life? What I am doing? And all these questions start flickering in his mind. On and off these questions. What is the goal of life? What I am doing? For whom I am doing? So like this, people ask. And then they start searching. And then they come to ISKCON Newtown and they met Sri Nitai Das. And he gives a book to him. And in the book, it is written, it's about spirit, soul. Bhagavad Gita says that the soul is eternal, the body is temporary, death is just a transition, and all those things. And he develops, this is what it is happening. And we need to do our karma and all those things. And slowly, this Bala Utpadiki faith has to be transferred to Swabhaviki faith. Then only he can go on to the next stage. If a person continues to maintain the Bala Utpadiki faith, that means his practice of Krishna consciousness is just based on some material circumstances or improving material circumstances, then he will not be able to continue going ahead in the next stages of bhakti that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains. His faith has to come to natural faith. That means that this Bala Utpadiki faith, like this is there, it has to get transformed to Swabhavaki faith. Then only he will go and proceed forward for the next stages of bhakti. If someone doesn't have that Swabhaviki faith on Bhagavad Gita and the scriptures, and doesn't have the Swabhaviki faith in trying to learn the scriptures, so then his faith mostly coming to Krishna consciousness is Balotpadika, based on some material circumstances of Artho, Artharthi, Jigyashu, Jnani cha Bharatasrava. In these four things, we are called as Sukritino. Sukritino, in Bhagavad Gita, four categories of people. Artho, one who is distressed, someone became bankrupt, someone became financially bankrupt, someone became physically bankrupt, his health went down, somehow big health crisis happened, someone passed away in his house. So this category of people, Artho category, or Artharthi, they want money. They go to Tirupati Balaji, give some money, they are in need of money. Artho, Artharthi, Jigyas, some are curious. So these are all certain material circumstances which create inquisitiveness in the life of a person to practice bhakti, and this is called Bala Utpadika faith. There is a Bala, material circumstances which creates a spiritual inquisitiveness. But if that material circumstances is the only impetus, then he will continue for some time bhakti, he will tell Tata and go back. We have seen also so many people. They come because there some problem happened in their family. They come and they do some bhakti in the temple. They meet some devotees in the temple, and later on they again stop their bhakti. Yes, because their bala utpadika faith was not transformed to swabhaviki faith on the scriptures. And many of our ISKCON ventures like Govindas, like Food for Life, and value education, many of these ventures in ISKCON are meant to induce bala utpadaki faith. Like for example, Food for Life, we distribute khichdi. So when we distribute khichdi, then people naturally come for taking khichdi. They don't come to read Bhagavad Gita. But when they naturally come to take khichdi, they associate with devotees. And some devotees say, just see how these people, they have become so nice. They are distributing khichdi. And how they are distributing khichdi, how they have transformed. Then people will say, how they have transformed, how they have become so nice. Oh, because of reading Bhagavad Gita. Oh, because of reading Bhagavad Gita, these transformations have happened in their lives. Nah. Oh, Bhagavad Gita is so nice. Yes, Bhagavad Gita is so nice. Oh, then if I read, there will be transformation in my life. Now, yes. These are all youths. They are all young. They could do so many things. But just see, they're distributing khichdi. So when people see that now they have come for distributing khichdi, but their bala utpadiki faith can be transformed to swabhaviki faith. So many of our ISKCON ventures are to create that bala utpadiki faith and then help a person transform his faith to swabhaviki by telling that all this, whatever transformation has happened in my life, is by reading these scriptures. That is why whenever we meet people, people would definitely ask, oh, you had got transformed so much. What is the reason of your transformation? Then we must say that the reason of my transformation is reading the scriptures. That will help the person's bala utpadiki faith to become swabhaviki and develop faith on the scriptures. Because until unless a person develops a natural faith on scriptures, he cannot proceed ahead in the next stages of bhakti. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains about how there are two types of faith in the level of Adau Shraddha. Swabhaviki faith is natural on the scriptures. Bala utpadiki is because of some material circumstances. He has come to temple, he has come to spirituality because of some material circumstances that has created a bala or strength to bring him to bhakti. But it is the responsibility of the temple devotees or the devotees to help his bala utpadiki faith get transformed into swabhaviki faith. So most of our initial level of preaching, whatever preaching initially we are doing, like the Bhagavad Gita seminars, the stress management seminars, are all seminars to help a person, attract a person through bala utpadiki faith and transform it to swabhaviki faith. Like for example, stress management seminar. Now, stress management is a material thing. A person gets attracted to stress management, but he is hearing now stress management from a devotee. He can hear stress management from XYZ. So many people in this entire world give stress management seminar. But if he hears from a devotee, the devotee would naturally speak from Bhagavad Gita, and that would help him to develop an interest to learn about Bhagavad Gita more. To develop an interest to learn Bhagavad Gita scrutinizingly. Oh, Bhagavad Gita speaks about stress management. Oh, I was not knowing that Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful book. I was thinking that Bhagavad Gita is just a mythology. If you see the book resonate with divinity, it starts with like that. It begins with that how people are stressed and how people want to get rid of stress. And in the next chapter, I explained how Bhagavad Gita gives a wonderful explanation of stress management. So what we are trying to do with these books is bring a person and attract a person through some material means and use that material strength to develop spiritual conviction on the dharmic scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and all those things. So these books are written also in this ground, which is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that first if a person doesn't have a inclination to directly read Bhagavad Gita or scriptures or directly practice spirituality because he's so much stooped in material things, he will only get attracted to spirituality if spirituality offers some material things. But the real thing spirituality offers is not material. It offers something which is spiritual. Imagine the beginning of the class. There is a beginning of new class and we start the class telling this material world is a miserable place and we need to get out of the material world. The goal of life is go to spiritual world. These are all Maya. Your wife who is sitting beside you is Maya. Your children who is frolicking and dancing and jumping in front of you is Maya. That wife who has become pregnant is full Maya. All these are Maya. And goal of life is to go back to Godhead. Spiritual world is devoid of Maya. Now this is correct. This is what. But when Krishna speaks about it, Krishna speaks about this concept in the 8th chapter. By the time, now Arjuna is already a fully realized soul, but Krishna is considering Arjuna as a completely new person. So he begins from stress management, from something, a material thing. One reads Bhagavad Gita and say, oh, Arjuna is in a material situation. Arjuna is in a stressful situation for following his duty only, correct? Arjuna was not facing some spiritual problem. Oh Krishna, what can be done? Arjuna was facing a completely, as a warrior, he was facing a completely material situation where he was facing difficulty in following the material duties, material dharma. He starts with it, and in the 8th chapter, Krishna speaks about that everything is Maya, we need to go back to Godhead, yadgatva nanivartante, tadhama paramam mama. So in the beginning, we tell about how the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, can help improve his material life nicely, can help improve his material life create a positive environment in his material life. And that happens, but that is an insignificant byproduct of reading scriptures. If we read scriptures, the most insignificant byproduct that we achieve of reading Bhagavad Gita is that our material situation improves. We have a positive thing in our society, in our family, in our mindset. Like people say, no, Bhagavad Gita, if you read Bhagavad Gita, your mindset becomes positive. That is an insignificant byproduct of reading Bhagavad Gita. But still, we use that byproduct to bring people to Krishna consciousness. to attract people to Krishna consciousness. This is called Bala Utpadika. But this Bala Utpadika faith that has arisen, like sometimes some people they are not devotees, but they get married to a devotee. Now what this person will do now? Now his wife is a devotee. Now he doesn't want to practice devotional service, but his wife is devotee. Now he loves his wife, and his wife has like moon-like face, and is so attracted to his wife. And but unfortunately, wife is devotee. So now it's a material circumstance that the wife, he is attached to his wife and wife is a devotee and is so attached materially, he starts supporting the wife in her Krishna consciousness. And then slowly, if the wife is intelligent, would try to help that person build up his bala utpadika faith. Now he also starts practicing some bhakti. Like the wife may be chanting 16 rounds, he is chanting 1 round just to please the wife, not to please Krishna. He is just doing it for pleasing the wife. क्या सोचेगी, इतना अच्छे से मेरी सेवा करती है, एक माला तो कर देना चाहिए उसके लिए. Just to 1 round I must chant for her pleasure. Or sometimes, like I have seen, sometimes some ladies will come for the programs and all, and once in blue moon the husband will come. And I said, Arey Prabhuji, you came? What happened? Now today is my wife's birthday, I have come to, because just to please her, I have come to temple, and so that she is pleased. And what gift more I can give to her than bringing her to temple and I myself coming to temple. Oh, such a spiritual desire. So romantic spiritual desire it is. But many people come to a temple like this, and this person who is doing devotional service, now one may say, oh, he has come to temple and temple devotees will think, what a wonderful couple, my goodness. And the husband has also put tilak. Like the wife is chanting 16 now, husband is not chanting even 1 round or something, put tilak. I'm looking so nice, na? And he's taking photographs with the wife and all. These are all bala utpadiki faith, The husband's attachment to his wife, a material attachment, is nothing spiritual. The husband is not attached to spiritually. And the husband's attachment to wife has created a situation in which his bhakti can begin. And if the wife is intelligent, the wife will introduce the husband to some person, and somehow the wife, oh, you want to love me? You really love me? Let's read little bit of Bhagavad Gita together today because it's my birthday. And then slowly, when the wife can use the attachment that the husband has, or the husband can use the attachment that the wife has to help him or her develop attachment to scriptures, to the words of scriptures. This is how preaching begins. This is how preaching begins. And this is how we should do preaching. It is very nice if we get people directly who are directly wanting to know about God, directly wanting to know more about purpose of life. So Vyasadev, when he speaks about Athato Brahma Jigyasa, Vedanta Sutra, the first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That one who has got a human form of life, he would naturally do Brahma Jigyasa. He will do Jigyasa, he will inquire about Brahma. And our Acharyas explain that what are these Brahma Jigyasa? They are of two types. One is, first, the Brahma Jigyasa is, what is the purpose of life? What I'm doing? I'm just eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And what I'm doing? What is the purpose of life? Is this, and then I will die. What is the purpose of life? What is death? So this is one type of Brahma Jigyasa. Second one is, why I am suffering. I am trying to do so much. I am trying to do all endeavors to get happiness and I am unhappy. I am miserable. Why I am suffering? So those category of people for whom Brahma Jigyasa has awakened, what is the purpose of life? What is death? They are of the category of Swabhaviki. They are wanting to know about the purpose of life. But those category of people who come to bhakti of why I am suffering, how to get rid of suffering, they are of this bala utpadaki faith, and which has to be transformed to a faith. What is the purpose of life? The real purpose of life is not to just get rid of suffering of this material world and create a positive environment in this material world. The real purpose of life is go to spiritual world, go back to our original home. So this is how the faith is defined, and this is the first stage of bhakti, or the first sour of nectar that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains. Now once a person has developed a swabhaviki faith that Bhagavad Gita is important, and through interactions with sadhus, he understands that I also need to learn Bhagavad Gita. I also want to transform my life, and based on Bhagavad Gita. Then the next stage comes in the life of a person in the bhakti, that is called Tatha Sadhu Sangha. That is Sadhu Sangha. So this is the next stage. This is the first stage, Adau Shraddha, and this is the second stage in bhakti, that is Sadhu Sangha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this stage, Sadhu Sangha, as Guru Charanashraya. He seeks for a guru to learn the scriptures nicely. So already Sadhu Sangha he had, because without Sadhu Sangha, he can't even have Adau Shraddha. Yes, that's what the first chapter explained, that without devotees, there is no question of awakening of initial bhakti also. Adau Shraddha also requires the involvement of devotees in his life. But this Sadhu Sangha, that is the second stage of bhakti, is not just the entire mandali of sadhu. Among the entire mandali of sadhu, he picks up one person and he thinks that this person will be my guru, and I would try to learn or get initiated formally from this personality among the mandali of the sadhus. He gets specifically inspired from a person, and specifically surrenders to a person. So when that thing comes in the life of a person, it is understood that he has entered the second stage of devotional service. That is Guru Charan Ashraya. And we had elaborately explained about the varieties of gurus and all. And here this guru defines as Shiksha Guru or the Diksha Guru. The Patha Pradakshak Guru is one who helps to develop the Swabhaviki faith, or helps transform the Bala Utpadiki faith to Swabhaviki faith. But then he develops a desire to learn more about it, and he surrenders to a Siksha Guru or a Diksha Guru, and he formally gets the training, Siksha. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he gets Siksha in two ways. That is Bhajana Siksha, Sadhana, and next one is Sadachar. So we require Siksha in two ways. That is, one is called Bhajan, how to do the Bhajan, how to chant the holy names, how to read Srimad Bhagavatam, how to understand Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam nicely, how to read the books nicely. And next is called Sadachar, how to behave. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. And to put Dandavat previously, forget about Dandavat Pranam. Hi, how are you, man? Like this, we used to address each other. But then he learns, oh, Dandavat Pranam. He addresses everyone as Prabhu. I am just a servant. How much he is thinking within, but at least from the Sadachar point of view, he is addressing everyone as Prabhu. And I am just a Das. So these are all Sadachar. Going to temple, initially when he goes to temple, he would never put Dandavat. Now he learns to put Dandavat. And he puts Dandavat to the deities, Previously, when he used to get up in the morning, just get up and eat everything without even brushing. But now he goes take bath, and before eating, he brushes his teeth. So Sadachar includes behavioral patterns, cleanliness patterns. Like we all read this Vaishnav etiquette book, right? All of you in the groups had read the Vaishnav etiquette book that is called Vaishnav Sadachar. So one way of getting trained is Vaishnav Sadachar. And another is how to chant the holy names, how to read Srimad Bhagavatam, how to understand different pastimes in the right way according to our acharyas. This is called Siksha or Sadhana Siksha, Bhajan Siksha. So one is Sadachar Siksha, another is Sadhan Siksha, Sadhana Siksha, that is Bhajan Siksha. These are the two Siksha one gets. But his Siksha, because we see in ISKCON, even in Adho Shraddha stage, there is Siksha, right? As soon as a person comes to temple, there will be definitely some devotees who will tell him something about. So that means his Siksha is there. So Siksha is there at all levels. When he started attending some stress management seminar by some devotee, when he started attending some flower holy or something, there is also Siksha. There is also some talk. And now there is talk in Sadhu Sangha stage, in the second stage. But what's the difference? Yes, can anyone say? In Adho Shraddha stage, also there is some talk. And in Sadhu Sangha stage, there is also some Siksha. What's the difference? Yes, two participants raised hand. Yes, Nidhi Mataji. Yes, Ansuman Prabhu.
In the first stage, that surrender was not there. In the second stage, surrender is there.
Okay, so first stage there was no surrender. Second stage there is surrender. Yes, Nidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandattana.
Yeah.
In the first stage, there is just casual talks. I mean, there is no body in the substance. But in the second stage, where there is sadhu sam, there is complete knowledge. I mean, there is no doubt whether the knowledge is correct or not. But first stage is just talks in air, like we say talks in air, and second stage it's substance.
Okay, so second is more serious. First one is just casual, talks. Okay, there is some Swamiji who has come to Uniworld to give some talk. Let's go and let's try him out. So like that. Yes. Sweta Mataji, you want to speak or? Nahi. Udit Prabhu? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, in the first stage, it is sort of little bit of material education bridged with spiritual education. But now the person has some faith in the scriptures. In the second stage, there's more in-depth study of the scriptures.
Okay. Okay, in-depth study. Yes, Sabyasachi Prabhu, then.
The first stage is more of a tick-mark activity, which is a compliance because of the inputs given. Second stage maybe, which is little bit of Shraddha. Maybe it's not though it may be a compliance, at the same time, he has faith on that process and he has given that kind of symbols.
So Sabyasachi Prabhu is telling first stage is most of like a compliance. Oh, so many people in the Uniworld, so many people are in VCC are going. Let me also go, and let me also affiliate and show to others that I am also a spiritual person. But the second stage is more serious and it's not just a compliance. Yes, Vijay Prabhu, then Santanu Prabhu. I'm looking for a specific answer. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandattana. So in the first stage, it is not voluntarily, they are not going and asking for instruction, but in the second stage, they are voluntarily asking for instruction.
Yeah, so here is the point by Shyama Priya. So one big Haribol for Shyama Priya Mataji. So, so this is the main thing that is missing from the first stage to second stage. First stage is Adho Shraddha. Only when a invitation comes, oh, there is a nice program. Okay. But Sadhu Sangha is where a person feels, oh, I must go for the class. I must learn it. I must talk with this Prabhu and find out what is the goal of life. So there is a voluntary interest given to learn. So in the second stage also there can be, so here another point also I want to mention as a side point. So these stages are not digital. What is the meaning of the stages not being digital? It's not that you complete the sadhu sangha fully, like our material education is digital. So first class you complete and then go to the second class, and then second class you complete fully and then you go to the third class. It's not that in the first class itself, after completing half yearly, second class some subjects are introduced and you start completing, and first class is not over completely and second class has started. It is not like that. It is very digital. Modern education is digital, the stages are digital, but the spiritual stages are analog. That means Adau Shraddha you have not completed fully, but your sadhu sangha has started. That means you have been visiting temple, your Shraddha is increasing, but among the Shraddha in the temple you heard from someone and you developed like, this person is really nice. I want to know about this person. Like for example, so there are so many people come to temple. Some people specifically get attracted to some specific devotee in the temple, correct? And oh, this person is really nice, he speaks well and he sings so well, and his attraction to the person is also material, but somehow he gets attracted to that person and he wants to associate with that person and he starts associating, but still he has this material and he comes to know, oh, this person is so educated, I was not knowing. So his surrender to the person, taking instruction to the person is also now material. It has not become fully spiritual. But just because he is surrendering to a specific person with faith, his sadhu sangha stage has started. His surrender to that person is not have become fully spiritual. He is not approaching his guru only for completely spiritual reasons. How to get out of this material world, he is still thinking, oh Prabhuji, you are so educated, you see my son, give him some upadesh, Prabhuji. It's not, I will bring my son to you, right? So now he's still in the Bala Utpadiki stage. He's not become fully come to Swabhaviki that he wants to learn scriptures. He wants to get some of his material solutions being settled from a spiritual person. But still it is sadhu sangha because he has done voluntarily. He has started doing voluntarily, and especially when you start doing voluntarily for learning Bhagavad Gita, learning scriptures and surrendering to a person, then he enters the second stage. So the second stage is a voluntarily going and approaching a spiritual person. In the first stage also, there are spiritual persons in the life of a person. But in the second stage, it is he who volunteers to go and start learning and taking shelter. And in order to take shelter, this person needs to develop something which is called respect. Because you can only take, now sadhu sangha is a very, very specific now. Now bhakti, which was very generic, oh hum bhi temple jate hain, I also go to temple, oh I take khichdi which is so nice, I take darshan, and Bhagavatam class in the temple is so nice. So nice speakers are there in ISKCON Newtown and they speak so nicely. Oh, it was so nice. So in the Adau Shraddha stage, even if it is Swabhaviki, it is completely spiritual. He is not coming to temple for some material cause, for some material peace. He is coming to temple to know about God. But it was very, very generic. But in Sadhu Sangha stage, He understands that if I want to advance in bhakti, I cannot just make everything generic. I have to specifically surrender and take instruction from one person. I have to specifically choose one person as my guru among the entire sadhus that are there in this place, and have to specifically take instruction from this person. So sadhu sangha is a stage where a person understands that, oh, there may be so many sadhus and all are wonderful, all are glorious, all are very, very special. But I need to surrender to one person, and he chooses based on his inspiration. Initially, the inspiration in the choosing of one's guru or a specific sadhu may be little bit spiritual and little bit material. Sometimes most of the people who's, oh, my guru is really a famous person. So he has made his guru because uh, he has chosen his guru. He is a very famous person. And also he gives nice classes on Krishna consciousness. This is also. But he's a famous person. And also he gives. So that is maybe his sadhu sangha. But he needs to make his relationship with his guru or that specific sadhu and his reason and purpose of interacting with guru very, 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 very spiritual, in how to get disentangled from this material world, disentangled from the material duties, and get entangled fully into service of the divine couple, Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. And for doing that, the most essential ingredient is respect. Until unless we have deep respect, we cannot follow the instructions, because instructions are always, most of the times, unpalatable. Hare Krishna. There are nothing called palatable instructions. Oh, my guru only speaks sweet rice instructions. Then it's not guru. Instructions are mostly 99% time unpalatable. 99% time. Now, if one has thought that he has specifically surrendered to this person and he would only give palatable instructions which are palatable to his false ego, then he has not entered this stage. A person who has entered the sadhu sangha stage has understood fully that now that I have understood that this person is my guru, now whatever he says, he speaks palatable things which is good for my ego, very nice. He speaks unpalatable things which is not good for my ego, what can I do? I love this person, I respect this person, I want to follow this person, and throughout my life he is the person in my life. So then he is in sadhu sangha stage, otherwise he is still lingering in ado shraddha. If he has not found out a person for whom he can die for the instructions for whom he can really die for, he is still in ado shraddha. Hare Krishna. So that means it is still, for all of us, we can understand. So ado shraddha to sadhu sangha means that sadhu sangha, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur clearly says, it is Guru Charana Ashraya. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the verses Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes, I don't want to quote those verses because that will amplify whatever I said more. But until unless a person really understands that this person is the be all and end all of my life, nothing beyond this person now. So then he has entered and cleared of sadhu sangha stage. So, and for that he must develop deep respect, and there are varieties of ways to develop deep respect for one's spiritual master. All of you can, we can have a little bit of 5 minutes of brainstorming session of how to develop respect, because if the person has to become be all and end all so that I go to the next stage, because Ado Shraddha, the primary thing that is there, that you select one person and he is the be all and end all, you take instructions, and for us to take instructions which will be mostly unpalatable for all false ego, we have to really have deep respect for the person. So how do we develop that deep respect, and how do we go ahead in bhakti is we'll do a little bit of brainstorming. All devotees can share that how to develop that deep respect. First of all, we need to be very careful in choosing the spiritual authorities, or like that we already discussed in previous classes, that guru is not just for fashion or something, and oh, I also have a guru. It's a very, very serious thing. So then how to develop a sense of respect so that we can follow and move to the next stages? Because if you do not have respect, if you do not have deep respect, we have to respect everyone as Prabhu. Everyone is our Prabhu only. But if you do not have deep respect, we cannot go ahead in spiritual life in the next stages. So for the next 3-4 minutes, all devotees can think and tell how to develop, what are the different methods we can develop deep respect. Yes, Sweta Mataji. Yeah. Okay. So,
as soon as we start having श्रद्धा, we come for material reasons, तो हमारी material चीजें भी थोड़ी subside होती जाती है. We get the strength and we get that interest for spiritual things, and when you realize that there is something spiritual more than the material stuff, then and you have some realization, then you feel gratitude for that person. Simply, how I'm getting this, even this small fraction of realization, I'm getting this from that person. That gratitude, and when the praying involves, from my end, I'm thinking, the first thing is.
Okay, so Sweta Mataji is telling that we need to develop gratitude for whatever we have received. If someone has received something material also, because he may be at Balautpadiki stage, he has and he got, but if he is grateful, then he will develop respect. Yes, yes, Salja Mataji, then Sukriti Mataji, then Poonam Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, developing faith to the spiritual master is means we cannot develop on our own. It is very natural and it is very slow process, and it comes gradually, because we are in an initial stage, we are at a very material stage, and we don't know what is spiritual things. And gradually when we learn, and the one who is teaching us, like we don't have any material, means हमारा कुछ spiritual कुछ होता ही नहीं है कि हमारा क्या spiritual, हम क्या चाहते हैं, क्या हमारा destination है. बट हम जो मटेरियल बेनिफिट्स हम चाहते हैं, और हम देखते हैं कि हम जब किसी गुरु की तरफ हमारा श्रद्धा होता है, या थोड़ा सा भी ट्रस्ट होता है, उनकी बातों पे बिलीव करते हैं, तो हम देखते हैं हम जो भी मटेरियल परेशानी में हैं, या जो भी हम चाहते हैं मटेरियल गेन्स इन आवर लाइफ, वो कैसे उसको मतलब स्पिरिचुअल वे में वो लेके जाते हैं. और वो बहुत मतलब इट्स, हम कभी डेवलप नहीं कर सकते प्रभु जी, वो नेचुरली होता रहता है. जैसे जैसे टाइम बीतता है, जैसे जैसे हम सीखते हैं, एंड वो हमारा वो प्रोसेस बढ़ता जाता है. हम कितने सिंसियर होते हैं उनको फॉलो करने के लिए, उनको बिलीव करने के लिए, और जितना
So,
हमारा sincere enthusiasm रहता है,
but the question is how to develop that respect, because definitely we want to follow, but how to develop that respect, because if you do not have respect, you will not approach only. That's the problem. You are telling that as we approach, we start interacting, we see that how there is Krishna consciousness.
but Prabhuji, in initial stage, respect is very less.
So how to increase that respect? Because until unless
In initial stage, respect is just because he's a sadhu, he's a spiritual person.
no, how to increase that respect? Like our Mataji said,
सुनते हैं कोई भी साधु का संग लेने से बहुत अच्छा होता है, तो
that is
just for
initial
piety.
stage, but how to increase that respect? Like Mataji said, ki there is gratitude. So by gratitude, we increase the respect. Being grateful to whatever we have received, we increase the respect for a person. So how do we increase that respect?
Prabhu, can I add?
Okay,
Mataji's
Santanu
point.
Prabhu wants
So
to
actually, especially for Kaliyuga people like us, who जिनका दिमाग थोड़ा ज़्यादा चलता है, for them actually.
But you are defying Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam says Kaliyuga दिमाग कम चलता है.
Hypocritical mind.
Okay, hypocritical mind. Negative way.
So हमारे लिए actually faith on any person is an ongoing process. In the sense, we can take very small, some very basic instruction from the sadhu, apply it, and because bhakti is a live process, it gives us the experience, the happiness, and the transformation. So then little bit more we can put faith, and then again we take some small, little bigger instruction, apply it, and it may be any type of instruction of chanting or how to manage life or bhakti, and then gradually जैसे जैसे we see the application of the sadhu's instruction, तो faith बढ़ता जाता है.
Respect. I am not talking about faith. Okay, okay. So Santanu Prabhu is telling that respect will increase gradually as we see things happening. And imagine things are not happening, so respect will reduce. Now, so by Santanu Prabhu's verdict, respect is completely based on the person. The person is sincere, respect will develop. Person is not sincere, respect will not develop. And generally, we are not sincere, so respect will not develop. And then what is the hope for a person to go ahead? Because the person has heard some instructions from Guru. It may be because of his lack of sincerity that the instructions are not working in his life. But if he bases the potency of his spiritual master based on how much instructions are working in his life, it is completely dangerous. Because if the instructions may be very powerful, but if he is lethargic, he is not following the instructions properly, then it will not work. And when it doesn't work, he will lose respect. अरे क्या बोलता है, कुछ follow नहीं करना, कुछ it doesn't work only what he is speaking. But he will not see that why it is not working. Because out of false ego, he will not. So when we base the respect of spiritual master based on what transformations are happening in my life, then we make the respect for the sadhu or guru a function of our own sincerity, which is, as you said, is less. So that means which is a very, very dangerous platform to go ahead in spiritual life. Yeah. So how do we go ahead? Yeah, I hope all of you understood the problem in this, that if we just respect a person based on the phala, just based on the phala, definitely phala is the fruits that we receive, is definitely the case, but the fruits that we receive is a function of both the instruction and also the sincerity in executing the instructions. Now, it may be there the case that we may not be sincere to follow, and then we may lose respect to a person who is a very powerful person. like so many people, lost respect to Srila Prabhupada because they themselves were not sincere and they didn't follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada sincerely, and they said ki, it doesn't work. So how do we go ahead? So that means the respect has to be something, not a function of our own things. Yeah, so anyone else? Sorry, this is, yes, there is so many hands. I think Poonam Mataji raised hand first, then Sukriti Mataji, then Veer Narsimha Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu, and Kushal Bihari Prabhu. Very fast you say. Poonam Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji, I think I have 3 points. First, acknowledge, observation, and endeavor. So we have to acknowledge that the person who is giving us the instruction has a lot of knowledge. That comes only by observation, like what when you listen to the lectures or you ask questions and you observe that he himself is doing what he's saying.
Very nice. So it's a very nice point which Mataji is telling, that our respect for the sadhus or guru comes from walking the talk. When we see that this person is not just faking whatever, he's really trying to endeavor sincerely in his own Krishna consciousness. He is trying to endeavor sincerely to follow his spiritual master. This is something which is not based on our own sincerity. It is something which is intrinsic in a person. So our respect for the Guru, as Poonam Mataji rightly said, should come from how the Guru is walking his talk. If he is following the Guru Parampara, then he has to be respected. He's a really nice person. How deeply he follows the Guru Parampara. Like I saw my spiritual master, how much he deeply follows Srila Prabhupada. How much Srila Prabhupada I saw deeply follows Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Prabhupada used to always say, always, that whatever I am able to do is because I am simply repeating the instructions of my spiritual master. So you develop respect for one's Guru by seeing how he is having respect for the Guru Parampara. So this is the second point that is there, is that how he is respecting, or he is walking the talk, or he is following the principles of Krishna consciousness in his own life. Yes, sorry to interrupt.
Prabhuji, just one more thing. And also the direct instructions you are not taking for the sake, but you want to change, they become a part of your lifestyle. Not for the sake of it, that one thing Prabhuji told, so I'm going to, but slowly it becomes part of it.
No, I didn't got this point. I didn't got this point at all. Say it again.
Suppose I did something wrong and she told me to not do this. So I don't take it like okay, I will not do it for the sake of it, but it should slowly become my lifestyle so that I don't repeat it and it becomes very natural.
But how that will develop respect for the spiritual master, I think that is little, we are discussing about. So the first point you said was like very nice. It's like we develop respect by seeing him, how he is respecting and following the Guru Parampara or following the scriptures. So that's the first point. We'll take the first point only. Yes, Sukriti Mataji. Then yeah.
I do have a same point, like meditating on the good qualities of the Guru.
This is another very, very good point. We need to.
And one more, hearing about Guru's good qualities from other devotees.
So this is the third point that has to be followed. That is meditating on the good qualities of a person, meditating on the wonderful interactions and how the person has helped in my life, and trying to meditate on it deeply again and again. Rather, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Yasya Stri Sandhyam Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado Yasya prasadat nagati kutopi dhyayanstubam stasya yasya stri sandhyams. Dhyayanstubam. Stubam means what Sukruti Mataji is telling. Dhyayam matlab meditation. Stubam, your good qualities. Stava matlab praises or good qualities. Yasyas tri sandhyam. One who does 3 sandhya, 3 times a day one should meditate on the good qualities of Guru. Just imagine how important it is. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in Guru Ashtakam, Dhyayan stubam stasya yasyastri sandhyam Bande Guru Shri Charanar Vindham. So this third point that we came up, first one was being grateful. Second one was when we see that how the spiritual master is following his spiritual masters, the Guru Parampara so nicely, we develop respect. And the third one is we develop and deep respect when we start meditating on the good qualities. We start hearing about the good qualities from other devotees, about the Vaishnava. So that is how we develop the third and fourth. Yes, now Kushal Bihari Prabhu would like to say something, or Sabyasachi Prabhu, Nidhi Mataji.
I had the same point actually. Like my Guru Maharaj has written a book on the journey.
Yeah.
So people read that book. Many people get a lot of respect for they have seen him walk his talk, and then they are meditating on the good qualities. And there is a sadhu sang where like devotees come together and glorify, like Vyas Puja Mahotsavs of Guru, where they glorify the Maharaj's good qualities, Guru Maharaj's good qualities. So by that person develops the respect.
Yeah, so the fifth one is attending the Bas Puja of the Gurus. It is very, very important. Rather, in a disciple's life, the Bas Puja is the most important celebration in his entire yearly celebration, because if his connection with the spiritual world, with Krishna, is through the Guru, then Bas Puja is like a celebration where he gets to hear about the good qualities of the Guru. He hears about the wonderful interactions and wonderful services that the Guru is rendering from mouths of other devotees, and that creates a reverting factor in his heart that such a nice person, I am so fortunate to surrender to this person. So here there is the next thing, that one attains the Bas Puja very, very nicely, very religiously, and hears about the good qualities of the spiritual master from the mouths of other devotees. So this is the fifth point. Yes, anyone has any other point? Yes, Nidhi Mataji, you have a point. You have raised your hand.
Prabhuji, since I'm very new to this, so I am following inspiration from senior devotees.
Okay. So the next nice way is that you see other devotees following a person, so you also start following a person. But
no, I'm convinced.
Oh,
I
you are
have full conviction. That is why I have come. I have come to.
You follow the crowd.
But I'm not able to do it when I'm seeing the senior devotees. So I'm trying.
So you are following the crowd, and because the crowd is such a wonderful crowd of exalted Vaishnavas, so you are in the safe hands. So you are following the crowd. So yes, Prakash Prabhu, I think that's the last point we will take, and we'll go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
गुरु का प्रति पूर्ण समर्पण और उनका आदेश मानना, फुल्ली सरेंडर, क्योंकि हम भी देखा जो गुरु महाराज लोग जितना है उनका शिला प्रभुपाद जी के ऊपर पूरा जीवन उत्सर्ग कर दिया। जैसे डीप मतलब जो कहते हैं वो पूरा सिलेंडर के ऊपर ही
So you are telling that, so that point is already covered. So when we see that Guru is surrendered to his Gurus and the Guru Parampara, then we develop a deep attachment and respect for the Guru. So in order to summarize, all of you said nice points, that we need to develop a deep gratitude for whatever we have received from our spiritual masters. Second, when we see that how the spiritual master is walking the talk and surrendering to his spiritual master, surrendering to the principles of bhakti mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, trying to apply them in his own life, improve his own Krishna consciousness, we develop a deep respect. The third one, we understood that we have to meditate on the good qualities of the spiritual master. The fourth one is we need to hear about the good qualities from other devotees. And the fifth one is attending the Bas Puja celebration of the spiritual master. In this way, when we do all these things, we develop a deep respect for the spiritual masters. And when we develop that respect, it becomes easier for us to follow their instructions all our life. And then we enter the third stage of bhakti, that is called bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya means we start doing the bhajan. We start chanting and everything. Now one may say that bhajana kriya starts in the adho-shraddha level also. Like as soon as one comes to ISKCON, one starts chanting Hare Krishna. So what is the difference between this bhajana kriya, which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says the third stage, and what we are chanting and after sadhu sang and everything? So that we would see next class. So how the third stage is bhajana kriya, because we have already started bhajan even in the before adho shraddha level. And what is this bhajana kriya and how it is the third stage? जानने के लिए next class आइए. Just a little bit of suspense. Yes, anyone has any question? Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu has a question.
Prabhuji, not exactly question, but from the last point only, like two more things, like when we can we also include doing Guru Puja and attending Mangala Aarti, Guru Ashtakam. So when we sing daily, then automatically with the prayers of Acharyas, we'll get more respect for Guru.
So we also sing the Guru Ashtakam. We sing different prayers of Vaishnavas, Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, and all these things. But while doing that, it should not be just a generic thing. We should meditate on our own Guru while doing that. These things have to be done on a very specific way. Then only we will get these benefits. So dhyayan stuvam stasya. When we tell about stuvam, it also includes chanting various songs for the praise and glorification of the Guru. But it has to be done while meditating on the Guru. Like many years before, I remembered one devotee from ISKCON Pune had created, I think Ramanand Prabhu or someone, I think it is Ramanand Prabhu, had created a wonderful video where they had taken different, the 8 Ashtakams, and then they had made Radhanath Maharaj's different, like the first one, Samsara Dava. They had taken some clips which actually matches with that point of Samsara Dava. And then Mahaprabhu Kirtana Gana Nitya, and then how Maharaj is singing and all those things they had mentioned about and nicely. There was a very nice video. So similarly, that meditation has to be there. Rather, Ramanand Prabhu had taken a class, and in which this some devotee had asked about meditation, and he spoke about it, that how he meditates, and some devotees requested that we can make some video out of it, and they made a video, but that video is not of 21st century category. It was made in the 19th century. But still, that video is nice. I don't know where it is now, because previously everything was CD, DVD, and I don't know, maybe in YouTube they have put or not. But it was similarly for Srila Prabhupada also, they have made a video on this, on the Samsara Dava prayers, and Srila Prabhupada doing what is mentioned in Samsara Dava prayers, like that. So in this way, it has to be, these prayers have to be done with a meditation on one's Guru. Then only it will be effective. Yeah. Yes.
And Prabhuji, when we, the same, you can say disciples or followers, they come together and glorify, it's like we also should glorify, not only like here, but also glorify. We personally also speak.
Yeah, so we should also speak here and speak and all, and when we come in the mandali, then we also speak. So that also, actually speaking and hearing about the glories and good qualities of Guru, it helps us to develop a deep respect for the spiritual master. That is why it is mentioned that practically in this song it is mentioned that one should do 3 times Vyas Puja. Individual Vyas Puja 3 times in a day, Dhyayan Stuvam. Meditate on the good qualities, or whatever Vyas Puja he has attended in the year, he should meditate on all the whatever is being discussed 3 times in a day. Then only it is possible. And so this is nice. Yes. Some basic.
Question.
Yes, question. Sorry.
This is about you told about Guru's instructions are unpalatable. But see, in the life of devotees, like Guru also makes his instructions palatable. At times when Narad Muni, when Dhruva Maharaj went for achieving the kingdom greater than the kingdom of great grandfather, then he said, this is all, you are a small child, and why you are also doing that, why you are still aspiring for that, you should not become that much angry. But then Dhruva Maharaj said, no, if you want to give me instruction, give me instruction in this way only. I have to. So Guru made this instruction, he changed his instruction, he said, okay, you will achieve everything by chanting this mantra. So Guru, the first his instructions were unpalatable to disciple, but later he made his instructions palatable to his disciple. So Guru changes his instructions depending on disciple.
Yes.
That is also we have to think
so
like
the
that.
Guru will, but how do the Guru understand that the instructions have become unpalatable or palatable? Only when the disciple confides. So it was greatness of Dhruva Maharaj that he honestly confided. In the purport to this sloka, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions about this point. This sloka which we are telling, where Dhruva Maharaj tells to Narad Muni, what instructions you are giving, O Narada, O my Gurudev, are very nice, but it is unpalatable for me and I cannot follow it. So, to the commentary to this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur clearly explains that this should be the honest confession of a sincere disciple. So, the Guru doesn't know that the instruction has become palatable or unpalatable. He will only come to know only when the disciple confides. But if the disciple does not confide, how do the Guru know? Now, then one may ask, if the Guru is connected with the Guru Parampara, if the Guru is connected with Paramatma, why does not Paramatma reveal to the Guru that the instruction is palatable or unpalatable? Sometimes Paramatma will not reveal to the Guru in order to test the surrender of the disciple in trying to reveal and confide everything to the spiritual master. So it is a part of the surrender of the disciple that he has to confide that, oh Gurudev, these instructions are very nice, these are according to the scriptures, but this is something unpalatable at this stage for my false ego. Could you please instruct me something which I can do? Citing reasons why he cannot do. Dhruva Maharaj cited exactly the reason. I am born from a Kshatriya. My blood is filled with passion. And your instructions are for people born in mode of goodness, for a Brahmana. It's not possible. Right now, I have not transcended the modes. Please give me an instruction in the mode of goodness. Or sorry, in the mode of passion. So confession is a very, very important. Honest confession is what Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in the purport to this verse, what you are explaining. And sometimes when our instructions are unpalatable, it is important for us to know. It's not that we just don't follow it. It's important that we confide back that it is difficult for me for these reasons. Could you please tell me what to do? So if that honest confession is there, if that deep relationship is there, only when there is honest confession, then we will go ahead. But if the confession is not there, like Dhruva Maharaj, then even Narad Muni, forget about Narad Muni, even Vishnu comes, he cannot help a person. Because that person is adamant. Oh, my Guru just gave unpalatable instructions, so how I can follow? So that confession is required. And that confession will help him to surrender more to the spiritual master. I hope that answers the question. Yes, Sabyasachi Prabhu, then Udit Prabhu, then Vijay Prabhu. That's the last fast question, and we will. Yes, Sabyasachi Prabhu, you are.
I'm sorry, I'm experiencing some bad network. But at the same time, while going through this, Balak Padaki faith to Saviti faith, many times to give examples to the devotees, Retical Gita, that it has changed my life. Now, I'm a little bit curious to know, in Gita, now Lord is saying in 18.67 that Krishna tell Bhagavad Gita to four persons. One is Avakta, Nabhakta, Na is Atmakshaya, Na is Na Abhishayati, envious, and is the Astrusali. Those are not engaged in devotional service. So God is pointing out most probably to the atheist. Those who do not believe in him or maybe the spiritual thing. So technically atheist is a person who is not convinced because he is not convinced out of evidence. Nobody has given him the evidence.
Correct.
That person is atheist. Is by my understanding.
Yes.
He is not convinced, right? So if you are giving, so in that way, if you are giving him evidence through Bala Utpadaki faith, he can come to Swabhiki faith.
Yes, correct.
He can be a devotee. So one atheist has a 100% chance to become a theist if we follow this Madhurya Kadambini principles. But I am finding it a little bit contradiction here. Lord is saying don't do them, don't preach them. Yeah, correct. So it's a very nice question, very thoughtful question by Sabyasachi Prabhu. That in the end, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that this knowledge should not be given. Just 1 minute. This knowledge should not be given to atheists. This knowledge should not be given to these people. And Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling here that through Bala Utpadiki we can come to Swabhaviki faith. Then what is the hope of an atheist and all those things, all those people? And that is why Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur in the beginning of Madhurya Kadambini, in the first chapter, clearly says it is not Krishna who gives bhakti. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the teacher. And if Krishna is the teacher, then he will say, Sarva dharman paritejya mamekam saranam braja aham tam sarva papebhya. But Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur clearly says that Krishna is not the teacher of Madhurya Kadambini. Lord Chaitanya is the teacher of Madhurya Kadambini, who is Maha Niramkusha Madhurya Kadambini. Like a striking story or example that comes in my mind is an example of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. When Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj 17 times. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he will go and he will say, I want initiation because my father Bhakti Vinod Thakur has said to take initiation from you. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj will say,
oh, I'm not qualified. Then he will say, oh, I will check with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Next time he said, I checked with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and I forgot to ask about you. I talked with him, but I forgot. Like that 17 times he was going up and down, and finally he said, I will commit suicide if you don't give me initiation. And then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj gives initiation to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and the first instruction he gives is never go to Calcutta, never associate with materialistic person, do your bhajan. And the next day, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur goes to Calcutta for preaching. He is outrightly, externally defying the instructions of his spiritual master. But Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was very happy with the endeavors of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He did a lot of bhajan in Navadvip, and then he went to Calcutta to preach. So as far as Krishna is concerned, Krishna would make all these things, that this knowledge should not be given to atheists, this knowledge to be given to them. But when one is a Mahabhagavat, when one is a pure devotee of the Lord, his compassion goes beyond the compassion of Krishna by the mercy of Krishna. So the pure devotee's compassion is beyond the mercy of Krishna by the mercy of Krishna. Now something how can be beyond Krishna? Krishna is be all and end all of universe. So by mercy of Krishna, Krishna, in order to, just like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the first chapter, which I missed, he tells an example of a father and son. Sometimes when father and son do kusti, by the mercy of father, the son becomes glorious, correct? The father is not putting big mukka and everything. Father puts one mukka, then child is dead only. But father apparently gets defeated by the child. So by the strength of the father, by the mercy of the father, the child becomes glorious. So similarly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Krishna can deliver all the atheists and all, but Krishna wants to give credits to his Mahabhagavat pure devotees. And that's why he doesn't do that. He tells his Mahabhagavat devotees to do that, and so that they become glorious. Oh, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, but see Srila Prabhupada, he spoke Bhagavad Gita to the hippies. Krishna is telling Bhagavad Gita should not be given to hippie. Prabhupada gave to hippie, made them delivered and made Vaishnavas. Just see Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Krishna, as a wonderful father, he empowers his loving sons to do something which is more glorious than him. You can read a wonderful purport, which is a very, all of you should read this purport. Just 1 minute, I will share the purport so that you see what is that purport I am talking about. It is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 16.65, I think. Yes. So this is the verse. All of you should read the purport. Today is Sunday, you have time. It's a very wonderful thing. You are able to see? This is Madhya Leela 16.65. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 16.65. This is, the context is, you can write down Madhya Leela 1665, 16.65. I request some devotee to share the link, this Veda based link in the group, Rasamala English group, so that devotees can read the purport, which answers Sabyasachi Prabhu's question very nicely. So this is the context of this verse is, Lord Chaitanya is telling Nityanand Prabhu to don't come to Puri every year, stay in Bengal and preach. And Lord Chaitanya is telling that what you can do, I cannot do. How can Lord Chaitanya not do and Nityananda can do? So then Lord Srila Prabhupada writes a wonderful purport based on the commentaries of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Please read, it is very, very nice. About how Lord empowers his servants to do something which even he cannot do or he doesn't want to do, so as to glorify his devotees. So Bhagavad Gita is also correct and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is correct, and the reconciliation is this verse and the purport that is mentioned, that Krishna wants to glorify his devotees. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Maybe just icing on the cake. We do not tell Sarvadharmam Pariteja Mamekam Saranam Varja. We say Sarvadharmam Pariteja Namekam Saranam Varja. Namarupe Krishna Avatar.
So we say that we surrender to the name of the holy name, and holy name will do everything else. Our job is very simple: connect a person to the holy name of Krishna, and then holy name will yes, Udit Prabhu and then Vijay Prabhu, then we'll end.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we are seeing that a lot of people who are there into Balutpadika faith, right? They do worship of Krishna also as like Gopal or other forms. But is there any defined process for them to move to Swabhavika faith? Right? Because so they have curiosity to know about Krishna, and they also try to relate everything to Krishna, but that is the most difficult part for them to move to Balutpadika, to Swabhaviki faith, so that they can move to the next phases of Bhakti.
Nice question. So how to make that transformation? How to practically help a person to transform from Balutpadika to Swabhaviki is by quoting from scriptures many things that scriptures speak, and it is true. Like my father had a lot of doubt on Lord Chaitanya being the Supreme Lord, because in Odisha, in Puri, they don't consider, or many places, they don't consider Lord Chaitanya as Supreme Person. They think that it is the Gaudiya Vaishnavas who have made Lord Chaitanya as Supreme Lord Krishna, but actually it is not true. So my father, naturally being from Puri, he also had this doubt. So I asked my father, you see, who are all the avatars of Vishnu? My father said that Dasa avatars are avatars of Vishnu. I said, which scriptures speak about the Dasa avatar of Vishnu? There are so many scriptures speak about, and the primary scriptures which even these devotees know is called the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam clearly speaks about the avatars of Vishnu. So I said, when Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about the avatars of Vishnu, same Srimad Bhagavatam, same scripture speaks about the avatar of Vishnu as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Then how you accept the Dasa avatar and you don't accept Lord Chaitanya as avatar while following Srimad Bhagavatam only? Either you reject the Dasa avatar also, or if you have to accept Dasa avatar, then you have to accept this also, because the reference of Dasa avatar comes from Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, you have to sow scriptures which they can believe. Like for example, scriptures say that the embryology, the modern embryology, which scientists have documented and found out through ultrasonography, it completely matches with Vedic embryology we mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Modern astronomical distances which we have measured matches with the Vedic astronomical distances. So there are so many things in scriptures which modern science is finding out and which we can see in our life. So we speak all those things so that a person's Balautpadiki faith becomes Swabhaviki, natural. So certain things in the scriptures we can experiment, and certain things we cannot experiment, we have to experience. Like for example, electron, we cannot see. No one has seen electron till date. So it's an experiential thing. We experience the movement of electrons, but no one has seen electrons. So similarly, certain things even in science we can see and we cannot see. We can only infer, we can only experience. So similarly in scriptures also, certain things we can experiment and see, certain things we need to infer, just like in science, right? So in that way we help a person to develop Swabhaviki faith in scriptures from his Balautpadiki stage by speaking certain things which will help him to develop faith in the scriptures, which he can directly see, perceive. Okay, like Dwaraka excavations, Mahabharata, that is video where it clearly says that just see, this Mahabharata is true. So in that way. Yes, Vijay Prabhu, and then Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu, Prabhu, this in previous class you discussed about what creates bhakti is discussion on is it pious activities, is it Krishna or is it devotee? Then the conclusion was it is because of devotee. But there was one question where we left the class that time was even though devotee gifts comes to in association of many people, but only few people start awakening the bhakti. And there you said it is explained what is that connection. Who develops that bhakti, but not all of them was attending the program. We'll discuss in the next chapter. It's coming to. So is that the Balotpadiki faith too?
That's how everyone doesn't become devotee. A devotee who is ready to put faith that so many people have tried this, let me also try, it may work in my life. So at least that faith he has to put. Bijay tried, Samapriya tried, Udit tried, Kushal Vihari tried, Sri Nitai tried. Seeing all these people who have tried, they have got result, let me also try. Sincerely. So when that helps a person, if someone is not ready to try only, then how he will enter the first stage only, Ado Shraddha. Ado Shraddha means he has very initial faith just to try. Like Srila Prabhupada in many lectures will say, this holy name of Krishna is there and it is supposed to give you everything and it is free. So why don't you try for 6 months? Why don't you try for 1 month? Why don't you try for a day? Anyway, we are not charging anything. So if a person is ready to try, then he enters the Ado Shraddha stage. Then he putting faith, na? To try also you require a faith. So that is called Ado Shraddha. So those people who at least put a try, give a try, they are Ado Shraddha. अरे इतने सारे लोग बोल रहे हैं, ये बोल रहे हैं, वो बोल रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा try मारते हैं. So that is called Ado Shraddha. Is clear? Yeah, Ankit Prabhu, then Santanu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guruji.
Yes.
So first of all, sorry that actually I joined the class late because here there is little time saving thing. They have made like 1 hour difference. So earlier for me class used to start at 4, now it's starting at 3.
Hare Krishna.
So it's difficult. But I'm trying.
But you are shifting to South Africa, so I don't know.
Yes. But there also they follow the same time zone, like 3.5 hours difference from India.
Oh.
So again, there it will be, I think it will be a little better because it is a little warm country. So I hope things will be a little more relaxing there. So let's see. But let's. Actually, bro, my question means like that Prabhuji was saying that hope for faithless and atheist. So then you mentioned that Lord wants to glorify his devotees. So even when Lord Shri Krishna says that we should not preach to them, it's like, the devotee is going this because the Lord wants to. But actually, in my experience, I have come here, like, I have seen here that in like when we speak about Krishna consciousness or God consciousness to people here in Bulgaria, so the people who don't know about God, those who are like, those who don't know at all, for them it is very easy to like, accept, okay, there may be something superpower, some power, which God or something like that. For them it's when they hear about it, though they don't know. But there are people at the same time I see who are coming from India, who are coming from family, not from ordinary but from Brahmanical family, who are like, the place where Shyam Bhagavatam was quoted. Directly, they are the descendants, those who are taking care of those places where Shyam Bhagavatam was quoted. And they are not ready to accept Krishna consciousness. They are not ready. They are like, in heart of heart, even when we give them something very convincing, they just, it's like, I don't want to accept it. They like, just take out something and just, okay, how can God be like, for instance, one argument which I see that if Lord Shiva is a person, he is God, but he doesn't even know his son is Ganesha, and then he kills a person, then how can you accept such person as a God? Means like, so they try to come with some argument so that they just don't accept. So because what I understand is that because they want to enjoy, and if they see that there is a God and there is something, then it creates hindrance in their enjoyment. Means that is my understanding, but I don't know like that. So could you please?
So Prabhuji is asking about how Indians and foreigners respond. Indians, they respond in a different way, though they are born in Punya Bhumi from Brahminical families. Why they respond like this? Because they are offenders. They offend. And these are not offenders, they are only sinful people. Indians have become aparadhis. So when one becomes an aparadhi, one becomes offender to demigods, to Lord Shiva, to all these personalities are very, very glorious personalities. So now the Indians, what happened over the years is that they have become very, very offenders because of reading all this stuff misinterpreted by many, many scholars. So many scholars are offenders. They try to criticize, misinterpret in a very, very derogatory way. And Indians are reading that, and they are also becoming very, very offenders of the demigods, Lord Shiva, and even Krishna and Vishnu, which the foreigners are not. They are not offenders. They don't even know. Because they are not offenders, they are only sinful. So Indians have become not just sinful, they have become offenders also. And because they have become offenders, so their punya, because of which they are born in India, has got covered over. So it is because of the offense. Now how to get rid of offense? Offense will take very long time, very, very long time to go away. Maybe in this life itself it may go away, and they have to go through lot of severe sufferings, and they have to voluntarily surrender. Then only it is possible. Offense can be done when one voluntarily surrenders. With inspiration, offenses don't go. A person voluntarily surrenders, ki sayad, like in Nityanand Prabhu's pastime, there were dacoits who were attacking Nityanand Prabhu, and they got such severe suffering that at one point of time the Sardar of the entire troop, the entourage of the dacoits, he thought maybe this Nityananda is a very powerful person, maybe he's God, and I have offended him, that's why I'm going through so much of suffering. And as soon as he thought like that, Durga Devi stopped all those things, and it started. So Indians are not just going through doing sinful activity, they are suffering more out of the sinful activities. The reason Indians are suffering more also out of sinful activities because they have become offenders. Now the hope of an offender is that he would voluntarily surrender without even knowing who is Lord Shiva, who is Lord Ganesha. They are starting to criticize Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha. They criticize Sita. They criticize Lord Ram. That just see the Indians, when they get in Western countries, when they get feminism, they just say that other people are exploiting the ladies. But in India, they take Lord Ram. That just see Lord Ram exploited Sita, his wife. Just see how India is. So, so when they spread derogative terms without knowing what is the pastime, without knowing the reason, like recently I was talking with a lady, she was also telling the same thing. Just see, Lord Ram did like this to his wife. So, I was speaking, I was trying to explain to her. He was telling, no one spoke about this explanation to me. I was never knowing this. This is why Lord Ram banished Mother Sita, and all other people, they wanted to propagate their wrong ideas of how Vedic culture, wrong ideas of how women are being exploited. Yes, women are exploited, But Vedic culture never propagated exploitation of women. Women are definitely being exploited. It is the corporate culture, it's the modern culture which is exploiting women. Vedic culture never exploited women. And in order to support, when they come to India with their Western thoughts and Western ideologies, they want to support something. And they support it through Lord Ram. And they become offenders of Lord Ram. When Indians accept it, they become offender of Lord Ram. They support a right principle that women have to be respected and not exploited. This is a right principle that has come from Western world. But they are using a completely wrong method of quoting Lord Ram's example of banishing Mother Sita in order to propagate a right principle of protecting women, not exploiting women. And that's how they become offenders of these personalities who are like, one is Lord Ram is God, Lord Shiva is expansion of God, he is the in charge of the material world, the demigods are very powerful personalities. So the Indians are doing like that. They are offending these personalities, and that's why their condition is horrible. The condition is horrible. So, and the way they are doing sinful activities is much horrible than the Western countries also. So why? Because they are offending these personalities without knowing anything about them. They don't even inquire. They just offend. So the possibility of helping them is by giving them some prasadam, not discussing with them, giving them prasadam, and by eating prasadam more and more and more, they'll develop some appreciation for devotees. And when they develop appreciation for devotees, they will surrender to devotees, and then they'll understand and voluntarily give up their offensive mentality to these personalities. Okay? I think that is the last question by Santanu Prabhu, and we'll end here. 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna. Well, it's question also and my comment also. Yes. Actually, I personally saw whenever I have done preaching, especially for college students, I saw that those who are very good to go, मतलब पढ़ाई वढ़ाई में बहुत अच्छे हैं, ना they don't accept. But those who have थोड़ा girlfriend का problem हो गया, थोड़ा कुछ fail हो गया, या घर में कुछ whatever. So basically, which Chitra Angira Muni says, no, when one is in lamentation, it is easier to hear, and not in hankering. When one has still the hope, and so we see now good to go people don't want to accept. But that time we used to sometimes मतलब speak like this with devotees. अभी रुक जाओ, अभी थोड़ा माया का लाठी पड़ेगा तो पता चलेगा. तो मतलब this is my comment that it's not a good मतलब thing that devotees should pray. अभी थोड़ा suffering आने दो. अभी मैं प्रे करता हूँ, थोड़ा सफरिंग में आएगा तो लाइक कभी कभी कॉलेज में मारपीट हो जाता था, इमीडिएटली हम हलवा बना के बाल्टी लेके पहुंच जाते हैं. वी यूज्ड टू प्रे अगले साल भी मारपीट हो ताकि थोड़ा प्रीचिंग हो. बट हाउ टू दिस थिंग ना, वी डोंट प्रे दैट पीपल सफर, बट इफ दे डोंट सफर, या मतलब इट इज मोर एफिनिटी दैट ना व्हेन वन इज इन लैमेंटेशन or he get beaten up by material energy he wants to hear. So what is should be devotee's disposition while preaching?
Yeah. So people suffering are not based on our prayers, unfortunately. If we pray that they suffer, if we pray that they don't suffer, they will anyway suffer. Prahlad Maharaj is praying that all the entire Vishwa, may it get rid of all suffering. But people are still suffering. So our people's suffering are not just based on the prayers. Definitely as a Vaishnava janato tene kahiye je peed parai jane re. So one should understand that we should not even in our dreams pray that this person should go through some suffering so that this person will come to Krishna consciousness. This is a very, very mode of ignorance preaching. Preaching can be done in ignorance, passion, and goodness. So when we do preaching in mode of ignorance, is that we pray or we go to people who have faced certain problems, or we pray that people face problems. But mode of goodness preaching is being exemplary oneself. We become exemplary students, we become exemplary grihasthas, we become exemplary sannyasis. And when people see exemplary behavior, even in a material life, then people get attracted. Like this person, he is also having a family, but he is happy more than his family life is filled with more happiness than my family life. He is also teaching, but he is so happily teaching and connecting students to Krishna consciousness. So when they see the exemplary life of devotee, even in material terms, how happy they are. So that is why it is said, my Gurudev used to say, a happy devotee is the best preacher. So if a person is happy, that is the mode of goodness balotpadaki, because everyone wants to be happy. So other ways of balotpadaki is not good. That person is miserable. If a person anyway is miserable, we try to help him. But we should not pray that a person becomes miserable so that he hears and we get an opportunity to make his faith swabhaviki from balotpadiki. We should pray that, oh Krishna, make me exemplary, fill my life with exemplary things so that I will practice bhakti to your lotus feet nicely, and seeing my example, others will also get inspired, and I will connect them, all of them, to your lotus feet. That is the prayer of a preacher. Oh Krishna, I can only preach when you empower me to become exemplary. You empower me with your wonderful good qualities. And when people see these good qualities, they will get attracted. And then I will tell, these good qualities are not mine. This is borrowed from this person, Krishna. Surrender to him. The happiness that I am experiencing is not because of me. The happiness is because of my connection with the Guru and Krishna. So get connected with Guru and Krishna. You will be also happy. So this balotpadiki is good, that because everyone wants to be happy. But praying for this is actually defying the Vedic injunction, Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukhva Bhavet. We should never try to get into mode of ignorance. A devotee always has to at least stay in mode of goodness. So this type of preaching, mode of ignorance, mode of passion, like in Srila Prabhupada's times, and also nowadays, somehow other by hook or crook, give him Bhagavad Gita. He says, I already have this Gita. No, I think you do not have this Gita. No, this Gita only, I have this Gita of Swami Prabhupada. No, I think you take it and gift it to someone. He said, whom I'll gift, I know. No, you have to do it, and this is Gita month and all those things. This is mode of passion. Mode of goodness is trying to explain the glories of Gita and inspire him. That in the same gifting a Gita can be inspirational. That, oh, why don't you gift? It is also why you learn Gita. You already have a Gita, you learn it, and you take this Gita and gift it and start teaching him. This is mode of goodness. So we should not preach in mode of ignorance and mode of passion. The products of the preaching in mode of ignorance and passion will be that people will also be in mode of passion and ignorance. And that's how the Kapila Dev explains that the bhakti can be practiced in ignorance, passion and goodness. So we must try to elevate our bhakti, practices of bhakti is in pure goodness, transcendental. But the practitioner can be in ignorance, passion and goodness. After this Madhurya Kadambini, we will take this section of 81 types of practicing bhakti, which Bhagavatam says. So you remind me, we will discuss, and it's really, really interesting. It's very, very practical. Maybe in the Bhajana Kriya section, we will take it. We will do a little bit of detour and go to Srimad Bhagavatam and see, because Bhajana Kriya is about practice. So, and Anartha Nibriti. When these two stages come, we will take this section. It's very interesting how mode of ignorance bhakti. You all can do some skits in your reading groups about mode of ignorance bhakti, mode of passion bhakti, and we should see that bhakti is transcendental, but the practitioner should be in the mode of goodness, or at least endeavor. So these type of prayers are completely in mode of ignorance, praying that let a calamity happen in his house, then he will turn to Krishna consciousness. And definitely Angira Muni did like that, Angira Muni, but it is not because of Angira Muni the calamity happened. Angira Muni said, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that Angira said, you do not have a son. Your Koshti, your Kundali doesn't have a son. Even if I give you, he will only bring unhappiness. And he said, no, give me. So it is not that Angira Muni prayed, Angira Muni created a son who will die. It's not like that. His Koshti only had that. Angira Muni said ki your Koshti doesn't have a son. And if I give you him, he will create only misery. If your karma doesn't have something and somehow other you have it, it will only create misery. Like for example, people say work hard. Nowadays you'll see people say work hard and then you'll get more results. They work 18 hours a day and they say just see, if I would have won 10 hours a day, then I would have got 1 lakh package, and I did 8 hours overtime, I got 2 lakh package. Correct? Like that people say nowadays. Just see that by working, I got 2 lakh. But that 1 lakh extra, which you have got beyond your karma, by just somehow other working hard, will only bring pain, will only bring heart attack, liver problems, and cancer, and all those things. Because you are trying to somehow or other grab more beyond your karma. Karma requires certain endeavor, prayas. But when you do ati prayas, just like Rupa Goswami says in Upadesamrita, atyahara prayasascha, when you do ati prayas, beyond, to get something beyond your karma, then that brings misery. And that's what happened. Angira Muni said that you do not have, but he was again and again telling, and Angira Muni gave. And Angira Muni just utilized the situation. He didn't pray that, oh, this king will get like this. If you would have done like that, much before only Chitraketu would have got a son and created. It is Chitraketu's karmic problems that brought suffering. Angira never prayed. No Vaishnava, no compassionate Vaishnava would ever make such type of prayer in mode of ignorance. At least our prayers should be in mode of goodness for others. Best is our prayers should be in mode of transcendence, that we pray whatever, he is happy, he is having problem or whatever it is, oh Krishna, create a situation so that he gets connected to you. Okay, does that answer your question?
Actually, that time we were immature and new though. But my main thing I want to say that, is it that a person in lamentation is more like we couldn't target those people or approach them, or those who are very happy and hankering for material happiness, we should not approach them because they don't tend to hear. So that is my question.
We should try to showcase our happiness of surrendering to Krishna. We should not, and whoever is attracted, we should understand that their bhakti is fructifying and they are coming. We should not target people. This is not a Vaishnava behavior. Vaishnava behavior is, he just goes and begs to everyone. Nityanand Prabhu didn't targeted anyone. He went to Jagai Madhai and he went to the most civilized people. Sometimes the civilized people rejected him, and sometimes Jagai Madhai, who were uncivilized, got accepted by him. So Vaishnava's compassion is not targeting compassion. We just show our compassion as a representative of the Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we showcase our wonderful example. We showcase our happiness, we showcase our different things, and we try our level best to attract people. to the process of bhakti, what we are practicing. And some people will definitely get attracted. So definitely for particular target of audience, we have to speak in a particular way so that they get attracted. That is definitely there. If we are addressing some scientific minded people, we have to speak in scientific terms. But that doesn't mean that we target only scientists. That doesn't mean that we only target poor people. That only doesn't mean, like, the one type of thing is target only poor people, give them some material benefit and make them connected to your organization. We don't do that. Our compassion is universal, but for helping a particular level of person, there may be a particular category of things that we help. But we should not only think that we will only target those who are distressed. For those who are distressed, there is a particular way to preach. For those who are happy, there is a different way to preach. For those who are happy, we say them, why you got this happiness? Because Krishna provided you. Be grateful, chant Hare Krishna as a method of thankfulness. For those who are distressed, we say, why you are distressed? Because you broke the principles of Krishna, your laws of Krishna. Follow the laws of Krishna and always again become happy. So in this way, we can preach to both. So why we will target? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki Jai, Sri Madhurya Kadambini ki Jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Vancha kalpataru vaishya kripa sindhu eva cha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna.